Alright guys, so we got the inner fender well out of the way. Just going to show you real quick. This is the clamp. This is where the exhaust connects right here to your downpipe. At some point, that's another project we're going to tackle. We're going to replace the downpipe because that is another point of congestion basically for the exhaust. But that's a project for another day. So we'll go ahead and remove the clamp. You can see I've already soaked it with some PB Blaster, hopefully loosen things up. 7/16 socket, and we'll just zip her right off. Alright, we got the clamp loose, and pretty much the rest of it will be done from underside of the truck. Okay, so here we are, obviously underneath the truck. Now that we got the downpipe disconnected, bear with me guys, this is going to be a little bit difficult to get any quality filming underneath the truck here. But what we're going to do first, now that we're under here, is some WD-40. We're just going to hit all the factory exhaust hangers, hopefully lube things up a little bit, make it a little bit easier to tear all this apart. At least get the hangers off and salvage those so we can reuse them. They do sell a tool for that. Of course, I am way too cheap to do it, so we'll fight through it, just like I do most everything else. Something else I want to go ahead and show you guys while we're under here. So this is the DPF that you're looking at here. A lot of guys are real confused about this, looking online. Listen to people's comments and people asking questions. You see these sensors. A lot of people seem to think that these are fuel lines going to the DPF. Don't be concerned guys, these are not fuel lines of any sort. They run all the way back up along here. Heard people talk about disconnecting them, zip tying them up to the truck and different things. Let's see if I can get a good angle on it. Come all the way up here. We're just going to disconnect them right up here at the box guys. I'm going to do the best that I can. All the sensors and fittings, I'm just going to disconnect them basically right where they run into their harnesses at. You've got the other ones here coming off the DPF. I don't know if you can see that. Runs right into a harness right up top to where my hand is. Of course there's another one up further, and you've got the ones up at the catalytic converter. So I'm going to go ahead and finish lubing up the rest of the hangers, and then we'll start unplugging the sensors. Okay guys, so here we are, quick update. As you can see, like I showed earlier, we got the clamp off. We are disconnected from the downpipe. I've got a couple of hangers left. Believe it or not, this has actually gone quite smoothly so far. Dare I open my mouth and say it. Right here we got a flange between the catalytic converter and the DPF. It's got 4 15mm nuts, a little penetrating oil and a breaker bar, and those actually broke loose and free for me quite easily, so I just took them apart. So far no cutting's been involved. You can actually see, even just taking those nuts off, the flange has already started to separate. I thought that might be rusted together quite well and could fight me apart, but so far it looks like it may just start coming apart quite easily. So we've got, it'll be real tough to see here, we got a sensor running on the back side of the DPF. This one actually connects right up here on this side of the frame. I've already cleaned them out with a pick, got all the dirt out of them right up on top. Little clip here, push, put some good pressure on it, wiggle it a little bit, and of course dirt falls out. It comes right apart, so we'll disconnect that one there. And then right back here we've got another one that sits on top of the frame rail. I already broke it loose. Again, cleaned it out. Here's a better image of the little tab here. Put some good pressure on. See if I can do this and get it. Okay. Got that one apart as well. And we follow these lines back to the block that I showed you earlier. I've already disconnected these. Like I said, you could unplug it here. There's a couple little bolts right here. You technically just pull this entire block off. I just took some needle nose pliers, squeeze these little fittings together, loosen it, and I just pulled the hoses right off. And I'm just going to leave the block on there. I see no reason to pull it off, really. Guess you cover it in a baggie or something, zip tie it, protect all the fitting ends if you think you may need to utilize them at some point in the future. As you can see, I've pulled most of the exhaust hangers off. I've got 2 left holding the system, hanging under the truck here. Like I said, I was too cheap to buy the tool, but a little WD-40, a couple pry bars or something. These things really just slipped right out, slicker than snot. They really didn't put up a fight at all. I've really just got a jack stand supporting the exhaust right now. And like I said, the two remaining hangers. So I'll go ahead and wrestle those apart, and then we will see just how difficult this is to wrestle it out from under the truck. Like I said, worst case scenario, I'll grab the Sawzall and we'll make some cuts. It would not be an issue to cut it anywhere in here. Make some clean cuts. You don't have to do a hack job even if you do have to cut it. That way, if you ever had to put it back in, it would just be a matter of some clean welds to weld it right back up together. So that's where we're at for now, guys. Go ahead and wrestle it some more, and I'll check back with you in a minute. Alright guys, so here she is, the pile of garbage that was the factory exhaust. Finally out of the truck. Really, overall, was not as bad of a project as I had anticipated it may be. It honestly did put up a little bit of a fight in a couple spots. One thing I didn't show you guys, because it's tough to get the camera under there while I'm fighting stuff, I didn't take into account the hard lines for the DPF. My intention was just to leave them mounted in the DPF, disconnect them up there at the hoses at that box, just like I'd showed you earlier, and just yank it all out. But they actually go over a cross member under there, so they had to either be cut or come out. It probably would have been quicker and easier to just snip the lines. I was trying to keep everything as intact as I could for the sake of the video. So a couple 17mm fittings for these sensors, and they put up a fight. I'm not gonna lie. It took some heat, some penetrating oil, some more heat, some more penetrating oil. I was finally able to break them loose. Even with the proper wrench, they were still trying to slip, marred up the fitting, as you can tell. I ended up using a pipe wrench to just mar them up and wrestle them out of there. And in fact, they didn't want to spin well on the fitting, so as you can see, I might as well have just cut the line because I twisted the hell out of it to get it off. But neither here nor there, it's out. For the sake of time and frustration, just like I anticipated, I did make 2 cuts for the rear section because it is so long. Just like I had read online and seen people talk about doing in different blogs. Taking apart the rear suspension, pulling off your right rear tire, and this and that to finagle it all out in one piece. Absolutely possible to do, but I'm way too impatient. I don't really care. Like I said, this probably isn't going back in the truck anyway. So I did make a cut right here at the muffler, just like I showed earlier, where it was already previously welded in with a piece. It wouldn't be a big deal to weld it right back in. And because it's such a funky angle over the differential, and it was just hard to finagle without jacking the truck way up, I probably could have done it. But like I said, for me it was easier to just grab the Sawzall and hack a couple feet of the tip off, take away enough of the angle, I was able to just pull it out in a few different pieces. The catalytic converter, I'd also seen people talking online about how difficult that was to get out. They had it all hung up in the transmission cross member, couldn't get it out. You know, it's tight, it's snug. You got to get the proper angle. It's just a matter of wrestling it in a little bit of a funky position, but it will come out. I did not have to make any cuts or hack anything up there to get it out. So all in all, not a terribly difficult project. Haven't seen a whole lot of very detailed videos as far as the LMM Duramax dismantling of the factory exhaust, so I figured I'd make a separate video of it. Like I said, unfortunately I wasn't able to record every nut and bolt coming out of there, but hopefully this video will be helpful to somebody. And stay tuned for the install video of the Flow Pro 5-inch coming to you next.